Welcome to a TRE session. Here there's another long one, and I start off on the floor with the arms bent and the elbows pressed in against my sides. And I do this for a while. This is a cool one. And I start out also with the soles of the feet touching each other, which is pretty standard. I would recommend that to you to generally start your tremoring sessions doing that until you have absolutely no problem inviting the tremors in any position, and then it's not as necessary, although you still might choose to be in this position. We call it the butterfly position, and I'm in this position intending to point my knees up to the ceiling just slightly, and that makes tension continuous through the inner thighs, whereas if you don't have the intention for the knees to go upward right here, then there might not be any tension really happening, especially as you loosen tension more and more through your practice. You might need to really have that upward knees orientation. So here, if you rewind it a bit, you'll see my shoulders going up a bit, the internal rotation of the shoulders. And it's exciting for me personally in that I can see that lessening, and also at certain points intensifying. Like there's a passage of the energy and a clearing of the block, if you want to think of it like that. Since I started doing that months ago, since that started happening rather on its own. So here I have some subtle kind of undulating motions. And if you haven't ever done so with my videos, I recommend you play it at half speed at times. It makes the video longer, but at least to get a feel for what the real-time pace is like for me, because I generally make my videos double speed or more. So playing it at half speed, which you can do by holding shift and clicking the comma button on your keyboard. And then to speed it back up, hold shift and click the period. Because otherwise this will just look unrealistically fast and vigorous. Okay, so what ends up happening here for me is that because it's so late at night when I record this, I have no caffeine left in my system, which I normally do throughout the day, and it's right before bed. I'm done with everything I want to do. I have a relatively empty stomach, and I'm going to jump right into bed after this, and so I really relax. I'm really in a good position here, knowing that I'm going right into bed, knowing that I'm not going to interact with anyone after this. I'm in a good position to just sort of let go of any sense of danger or any sense of needing to prepare for what happens in my day afterward, which normally is a big consideration because I personally am kind of sensitive to start out with, and with TRE after a session, a lot of energy goes toward, well, let's say managing or designing the rest of my day, especially right after the session. I'm mindful of anything I watch on a screen, any person I'm talking to, any loud noises I might be around in the world. Mindful of using food to fill any craving I have. There's so many considerations for me personally that I choose to take on. I've had periods where I'm more sloppy too, with caring for that aspect of my practice and my integration, but now I put more energy towards it. So as I'm relaxing here, I periodically will tremor through the legs, but generally not. I have a lot of movement in my upper body generally. Many people will have proportionately more movement in their lower body. So I noticed that my lower body doesn't move that much most of the time. It did in the beginning, however. It definitely did in the beginning. And I imagined later in my journey, more tension will be uncovered in my legs too. So generally, and again, if you want to put it on half speed to see the nuance, there's, these kind of popping in and out, like arching the back, in and out movements that happen a lot with me. There's these, nice internal shoulder rotation. Whenever that happens, I can feel it. I feel it in my shoulders as I'm speaking right now. Like, there's a pleasure in that looseness. Also a vulnerability in becoming that relaxed, that loose. And a little note on relaxation that was brought up by a provider that I was having a session with recently that has really stuck with me is he said, in TRE, we're not relaxing per se, or at least he was inviting me to not relax, and of course implied in that is don't contract either, but to how can I vulnerably be in the middle of those? How can I vulnerably just be in my awareness at or as or inside the body, at a certain part of the body? Because when we say the body and being in the body, well, realistically speaking, until we're like fully integrated, that's what that's going to look like, is being in a specific part of the body. And maybe we can multitask and have our attention distributed in a certain large area, like say over both of our shoulders, both of our arms, our thighs, our trunk. But the point is where our consciousness is inside a part of our body. So the aim here is to experience tremors. And of course we don't do that through our volition or force. Tremors happen wherever there is stored up tension, and attention enables that to happen. Here you see my left hand is really going at it. Yeah, this was a good one. I had a desire to kind of even it out with my right hand, but the fact is the same tension just wasn't there for my right hand. And so I was seeing real time, no, this is real. This is not just some general tension that I'm trying to get. This is a thing happening to me because it's just in the left hand. So, yeah, the tremors don't happen if we're fully relaxed. And as we continue in the journey of TRE, if your experience is anything like mine and others, I've found that we have an ability that we developed to actively relax certain muscles. It's like a little superpower that we can activate throughout our day when we notice tension, when something triggers tension in us. And of course, the primary superpower is noticing the tension. I would define a trigger partly as not being in tune with the physical sensation that's happening, that's elicited by an environmental response. So when we're triggered, we're inside and we're identifying as that psychological reaction, that psychological story, that psychological posture. And what's really happening beneath that, in addition, is physical sensation, typically in the form of tension, or physical sensation along with physical tension. And as we're aware of the sensation, as we're aware of the tension, we can actually actively relax that tension sometimes. And in TRE sessions, that's not what we're doing. Here, I take off the headphones and really relaxing, or let's say being open. Not relaxing, technically, just being open, and some residual tremors happen. So in TRE, we're being open. We're experiencing and we're receiving, in a way, whatever tension is already here. Now, what happens is a relaxation happens, but it's punctuated by tremors, which are the opposite of relaxation. Tremors are rapid contracting and undulating, muscular movements. So this is key, because with TRE, we're not trying to relax. We're trying to flush out our trauma, our stored tension. That's how it's going to change our life. This is not a relaxation practice. There's lots of those. And they are not what I would call permanently tension reducing or permanently trauma reducing. Whereas TRE is exactly that. And of course requires a lot of bravery to go through that trauma surfacing and tremoring. Okay, so after this, I just lie here for a while and then crawl into bed. Wishing y'all really well. See you next time.